Hello everybody, and today we have another Gacha Cringe comp, so let's get right into it, yeah. I'll get into the background later. Right now I just kind of want to focus on the character itself. This is going to be a really quick one because it's barely anything at all. But the first thing I want to notice is all the scribbles around the character. Was that supposed to be texture or no? Because that's not exactly how you go about texturing your characters. The second bit I want to focus on is just the white bits. They're everywhere. They're slicing up the limbs. They're around the face and the hair and wherever. So maybe try and get rid of that, maybe use a green screen and not do whatever you did to do that because it didn't look very good, didn't come out well. Allow me to jump in with my advice for tweening. I say this a lot, but I don't really use KindMaster, so I guess in general when you're tweening, make sure to have some semblance of smoothness between the doll parts. You don't want them all looking, you know, disconnected, like characters falling apart, or you don't want your doll parts cut up in the too much or too little, because again, that's also not very great, doesn't give the illusion that your character is one moving piece. So again, try to be more careful when you clip out areas you want to tween. I don't know why I just went on this whole thing about why you should clip things. I'm tired, I'm sorry. Finals have gotten to me. I'm going to die. Not linking. Okay, so now we can clearly see what the background says. Not linking protection is enabled, or hot linking protection is enabled. To remove this text, please visit. I can't, whatever. But it's obvious. It's like the equivalent of using a Shutterstock background, except this one's a little less respectable because it's a weird anime girl. But you know what? All right. It's also kind of weird to have a character in the background of your animation meme because again, that's. Why would you do that? The main focus is supposed to be on your character, not the one in the background. The head is, well, the head bobbing. They didn't exactly remove the head all that neatly. The neck and shoulders are still there. Plus, like, the original image is still there in the background, which isn't how you tween. Obviously, you take the head and the body. That's the very basics of tweening. You take the head, you take the body, and then you move them separately. Usually I suggest slicing up the arms into doll parts, slicing up some of the head and the hair into doll parts, depending on how much detail you want in your movement. But this is completely different story. Yeah, let's just keep going. So now the character's just kind of undulating. I'm sorry, but it's just, they've given up trying to tween everything separately. They're just kind of like squishing it around like a piece of dough, which again, not that pleasing. No, I don't think there's any way to make the squishing around of a character work like that, because in my humble opinion, it just doesn't look good no matter how good of an editor and artist you are. You really just shouldn't do that. It doesn't lend very well to the, I don't know, I don't want to say continuity, aesthetics, I think I should say, but either way, not the best choice. I see a lot of this in gacha, so try to not do that. Just no matter what you do, if you're gacha, if you're an artist, if you're something else, try not to have just stretching the character be like the main focus of just one whole segment. If you get what I'm saying. Apologies if I'm being a little vague, or I couldn't think of another word for vague. I'm sorry. So now this part's really boring with the eye. It just kind of sits there, you know. I really feel like the eye should have been animated because eye openings are really, really easy to animate, especially in Flip-a-Clip, which is, again, a free program. All you really need to do is animate the eye, put a green screen on it, and then key it into the final product, which is usually what I do when I'm trying to layer animations and keyframes or tweenings, that's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, for future reference, do that. Also works with the wings, faces, etc., as long as you know where to place things and how to, you know, layer things properly. I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So already the tweening isn't terrible, it's the better of the worst that we see here, but it's still kind of janky, still kind of choppy, and I guess the girl on the left is not tweened as terribly as the dude on the right, so I'll mostly be focusing on him for this first part. I can't really critique in depth the smoothness of the tweening, as in how to make it less clunky, because again, I don't know, I can't see the keyframes on the back end, so I don't know exactly what's causing it to be so, you know, I want to say crummy, but I mean, that's right, but I have to be nice. YouTube's new harassment policy. So janky, I guess I'm just gonna keep using that word. So for the boy on the right, his body is leaning way too far, and he should have been falling over by, you know, the amount his body has been moved. Along with that, the head, I guess the head's passable, it can move with the body like that, but I really do want to focus on, yeah, maybe make the body tilt a little less extremely, and he disappears in some parts, which I don't know why he does that. It's probably just like poor syncing up with the clips like a lot of these kids have problems with, so we'll just keep it there, let's keep going.
Wonder why Gambino got the game locked. Half-tied picky, all she wanna do is bang.
This is already terrible. We have the character crying blood. We have the dude drooling with that... God, I hate that face. It brings back terrible memories. And overall, no. That's just what I have to say about this. No, I'm not kidding. But, again, with the critique, I guess there's not really anything to critique here too much except for the use of crying blood. Maybe don't do that. Crying blood's never a good OC trait. It's just overused, it's edgy, and it doesn't really have any place here. I'm going way too in depth of like a few lines, but I need 10-minute ad revenue. I need money.
I got her hair done, French braids, now she ASAP. Bino so insensitive, she asking why you say that. I'm chillin', real nigga feeling, rich kid asshole, paint me as a villain.
So now we have this weird part where well, it was obviously a preset because you can see the green screen bits. They didn't key that very well. But also the weird thing is like the frames, or the frame speed, FPS. It's kind of weird. Like it goes really slow and then really fast and then really slow, and it really shouldn't do that because I know it can do that in the preview of the editing when you have too many clips or something, but it doesn't actually carry over to the final project as far as I'm aware of. So maybe try fixing that. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it doesn't look very good either way. So maybe try and, you know, get rid of that.
Still spitting that cash flow, DJ Khaled, got that house on Locos, PH.
Oh, and by the way, before I start this animation meme, there's a lot of flashing in here, so if you want to not have a seizure, perhaps click off the video, watch another video of mine, please give me views. Alright, so here we are with the Trypophobia meme. I probably pronounced that right. But anyways, I digress. Let's keep going on. We have this anime girl with the schoolgirl uniform. She doesn't have a belly button. She wasn't born. She was just cloned in a lab tube. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay, so right now, it's just this. For the rest of the meme, it's just this. So I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to make this short and simple, or not, because I never tend to stick to what I say. But I always, what I seem to notice right here is, again, it's very quick, it's very fast-paced, like Trypophobia memes are, but at least with some of them, you can get a vague understanding of what each character looks like. There's so many characters going by at once, it's kind of hard to, you know, see them. Plus, the head isn't exactly at eye level. We're mostly looking at the body, which is in the center of the frame. So probably scooch them down more to knee up, waist up, something in between there, thigh up. That would be a better shot, so you can actually see the face of the characters more obviously. Or I mean, you know what I mean. It's obvious, but like your eyes aren't immediately drawn to the characters in question. So. But what another thing I notice a lot is the blood. It's one tone. Blood really isn't one tone usually. What I do when I draw blood is I usually, I draw an outline with solid pen. I put the layer on Protect Alpha so I don't draw anything outside the lines, and I usually use a watercolor tool or something of that sort. That's not solid and blends well, to smudge some darker stuff in there closer to the center. If it's bleeding from a wound, it's definitely darker in the inside. And then it gets lighter as it goes out. Then usually there's some whites, light reds that, make it look like a liquid. And then if I'm really feeling it, I use like the smear tool to make it look more, smeared and less kind of static. So maybe try doing that instead of just having like one solid color of blood. And it kind of looks, like I said, static in some areas, like on the hands. Alright, so that was a fun little excursion back into the world of Gacha Cringe. Please watch my other videos. I've said that like so many times. It's a joke, by the way. Funny joke. Whatever, just subscribe, like, do all that if you like my content, and I'll see you next time. Peace.